Did you know that you do not have to have 20% down to get a home mortgage? Today, I am here at Profinium Bank meeting with Ryan Gillispie, who specializes in home mortgages. She is going to gather some information for us on first time home buyers and what is that process that we have when buying a home. Hey guys, Kayla here with the Boom Real Estate team. I am here today with Ryan Gillispie, and she is from Profinium Bank. We are here to talk about home loans and mortgages. So, hello, thank you for
Kayla.
meeting with me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about you and your profession and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am excited to be with Profinium. I have been at Profinium now for about 8 months, and I have been in the mortgage world for about 15 years.
Okay.
So prior to this, I was with another institution for over 11 years, and then with a broker before that. So I've gotten a taste of a few different environments, but I'm sure happy here. So it's been a great fit. I born and raised in southern Minnesota. It's been my home forever and ever. Live with my son Jaden, who is going to graduate this year, and my puppy Billy, and engaged to a wonderful man, Travis. And I feel very fulfilled with the work that I get to do, helping people find the right way to finance a home and be financially stable, and hopefully make their dreams come true.
Yeah, that is so exciting. I know home mortgages can be kind of tough to navigate. Do you have any advice for those first-time home buyers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So to me, the most important thing is education. I love sitting down with a first-time home buyer and talking through the process. And there are times where you'll sit down with somebody who will say, I already knew that, or, oh yes, I dug in, I investigated that already. And then there are others that are just feed all that information to me. I want to learn it all, and they soak it up. But the problem is, if someone's Googling or looking up information on TikTok or different places, it may or may not be accurate.
Okay.
So that's where I find it so important to get in front of a local lender, someone that you trust, that you see, you can sit down with, talk on the phone, find after closing, and just trust them, because it's a huge financial thing to walk through, and to have someone with you that knows what they're doing, is trustworthy, and knowledgeable, is priceless. So for example, I think there's still a misconception that you need a great big down payment to qualify, that you have to have a perfect credit score. Those things just aren't true anymore. You can have very little down. There's down payment assistance programs that you might qualify for based on different features of your profile. So there are just so many opportunities out there, and I think if people go down some rabbit holes, get misinformation, and then might be scared away from the process, it's such a awful way to start. So get in front of someone you trust, work with a realtor who can get you going in the right direction.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So say I am a first-time home buyer looking into buying my first home. What is my first step?
So the best first step is to sit down with a lender and make sure that they are walking you through the application process. And that should be typically a free journey for you to start. And they will ask you several questions. Maybe they'll even direct you to their online link to complete it, whatever you're comfortable with. But that's where they're really gathering your profile. They want to understand your employment, your income, your credit, your assets, your debts that you have out there, any student loans, auto loans, if you already own a home. So they can really look at that full picture and then sit down with you and understand what your goals are. If it's a first time home purchase, is your goal to keep your payment as low as possible and reserve some of your savings for some new furniture? Just to really understand, so that they're setting you down the path for success, so that you can afford what you're hoping to, you understand your budget. So really just a conversation, and then walking through the application. And that's where we start to move you toward the pre-approval process. And when you're pre-approved, it means that you have the golden ticket to go house hunting with your realtor and look at homes, and understand when you're walking in the door of a home, whether you can afford it or not, and what that monthly payment will look like.
I think as a realtor, that's what we've seen is the difference between your maximum budget and like this is your golden ticket and what is that realistic amount. So
Right.
that's why we look forward to working with you guys and talking with those people through this process, because it is overwhelming. And
Yes.
as a new real estate agent, learning the different avenues and programs and things that the lenders bring to these first-time home buyers or home buyers in general. So
Right.
we appreciate you.
I think too, Kayla, when you know, maybe you're out and about and someone says, I'm thinking about buying a home. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't even know if I would qualify. Or maybe they're thinking that might be their reality 6 months, 12 months down the road. I would say still get them in front of a lender, start that conversation early, because then they can really start to wrap their head around what that looks like. If they have any goals to save up a little more money for down payment, then it's not where the dream home pops up and we're scrambling for pre-approval and they may or may not get a foot in the door. So it's so much less stressful if we can start the process a little bit earlier. There's no harm in doing so. It just helps you be prepared.
And what does that approval timeline look like? Is it 24 hours? Is it 2 weeks? Or I'm sure maybe every case is different, but
right. Yep. So true. I would say our goal is always to get that out within 24 hours, if not sooner. There are times where a file might have some certain features that can complicate things, where we need to do our due diligence to make sure we're setting them up for success. So for example, they're self-employed, or they maybe had a bankruptcy or foreclosure in the past. We want to make sure that we've gotten things straightened out, and that we understand, if, especially if they're self-employed or a business owner, what truly income, sometimes the income on paper, it can change how we have to look at things when we're qualifying that buyer. So just making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's so that we don't pre-approve them and then something falls through, because that's a nightmare for everybody. So I would say absolutely we aim for 24 hours or sooner, unless there are some really unique situations. And then we're going to set that expectation with the client though, so that they're not waiting and getting crickets from us. They understand what we're doing and why it's taking a little longer.
Perfect. Yeah, that communication is key on everything. Tell me a little bit about the new down payment assistance program.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are several actually. So Home Ready and Home Possible are some wonderful down payment assistance programs that can pair with down payment assistance. So they're low down to start with, and then can even add more support beyond that. So looking at those, it's a lower down payment. There are some income qualifications with that we need to look at, make sure that the client falls within. But it might mean lower mortgage insurance. It might mean a little more competitive interest rate. So there are some nice features to that. When I say to pair with down payment assistance, that might be with a Minnesota housing program or something where we can actually use additional funds to help offset their closing costs or their down payment. And so it's where you have a client that the stars are aligning, except for not being able to pull together a certain amount for closing costs or their down payment. And hopefully that program then can step in. Again, depending on their file, they'd have to qualify and meet the expectations of that. But it's just a wonderful opportunity. And I think that's another misconception. There are opportunities out there. There are funds available. It's just working with someone that understands how to access those.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful information. Thank you. And then I know we've talked in the past about some of those myths with home mortgages. What are a couple top myths that you see that people are so hesitant to buy a new home or get into that house buying market?
So I would say having that belief that you have to have a large down payment, just not true anymore. I would say having that belief that if your credit's not 800, that you're out of luck, and that's not true at all. So there are programs like FHA or different programs that can be a little more forgiving on certain features of maybe a little bit lower credit score or different features of a particular profile. So just, I think that's the education piece again is just so important. There's free home buyer education out there also. And I recommend, even if you're buying a second home, maybe you
Okay.
haven't bought a home for a handful of years,
Yeah.
buzz through that training, because there are always new aspects and new
Mm-hmm.
things that come up, and different protections that we need, especially when things have gotten so expensive.
Okay.
And we just want the buyer to feel protected.
Yeah. And like, where would somebody find those courses or information?
I believe that we have some links on our site, or there are, like, on the Fannie Mae website. So a quick Google, I think HomeView is one. There are just some wonderful resources.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. And I'm sure if they reach out to you here at Profinium Bank,
Absolutely.
you would be a fabulous resource to kind of guide and
Yes.
start that process with
Yes.
everyone.
I would love to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today, and it was great basic information. And where do we start as first-time home buyers or home buyers in general? And
Yeah.
yeah, I know it can be a scary market out there, and so thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kayla.
Yeah.